Hey, I'm Shinah, former miserable corporate attorney turned full-time calligrapher and creative entrepreneur. I used to feel like I was living my life for other people, and now I am more true to myself than ever. And each week, I'm sharing a short but powerful lesson that I've learned on that journey. So if you're looking for a way to get more creativity and possibility into your life, you're so in the right place. Let's dive right in. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Shinah Show. I, in 2013, was an unhappy corporate lawyer feeling really stuck in my life. And now, fast forward to 2021, I am a full-time calligrapher and calligraphy teacher. My business, Crooked Calligraphy, brings in almost $1 million of revenue a year, and I am living a life beyond my wildest imagination, doing something creative each day and building something that really is helping to change lives and introduce people to this wonderful art of calligraphy. How did I do this? That's what I want to dive into in the Shinah Show. So each week, it's just going to be me chatting to you about an important lesson that I've learned on my now 8-year journey towards living a more fulfilled, happy, and true to myself life. That's what I want for all of you. So that's why I want to share the most important things that have helped me to get there. I still have my lawyer brain, so I like to break things down into easy to understand pieces. You'll never hear me rambling. I like to break things down into steps and frameworks. And I like to be really honest and straightforward and authentic and talk the real talk and share my numbers and be really transparent with you about the mistakes I've made and where I've learned my biggest lessons. So if that sounds like something that might enrich your life, that might inspire you to change your life, because there's so much more possible out there, I promise you, then I hope you'll keep tuning in to the Shinah Show. End the day at 8, but probably push on to the next thing in my to-do list, even though I was tired, so I could kind of like get ahead the next day and then get home by 9, watch a little TV, crash, and then repeat it all the next day. Oh, and by the way, extra bonus, if I ever did get some free time off, like a weekend day fully free, I would not know what to do with myself. So the free time wasn't great. And the busy time wasn't great. So that was my typical day in 2012. I still really vividly remember that. Okay, so now I'm going to switch over to my typical day in 2021. Before I do that, I just want to ask you, is there anything in that 2012 list that you're going through day by day that feels familiar to you? I hope not, but probably yes, right? Okay, typical day in 2021 in my life as a full-time creative entrepreneur and calligrapher. So I actually don't set an alarm in the morning. I just kind of wake up naturally whenever I want to wake up. It's usually when my fiance gets out of bed or when I hear stuff going on for breakfast, but I don't get out of bed immediately and jump into my to-do list. I actually lay for a while and just do something enjoyable, write in a journal, read a little bit of a book. Sometimes I'll put on an old episode of Sex and the City, and just like jump around and dance around a little while for exercise. And this ties back to that one crucial thing that I think about myself now. I think that's perfectly okay, because the thing that has changed, that one huge important thing, is that I have changed the way I think about myself, my identity. I think about myself now as a person who is constantly growing and learning and trying things and failing, and that's okay because it's all part of the bigger mission and purpose that I have in life, which is to experience things and try things and grow and evolve as a person. It's perfectly okay that my life isn't perfect right now. It's actually something to kind of like work on, and the possibilities are really fun to think about. So to make this really kind of concrete for you and step by step, because I love to break things down like this. I love to break things down into steps and frameworks and numbered bullet points. I don't like to ramble on. So I'm going to break down 4 things that I used to believe about myself that were really, I thought they were a part of my hardwired personality. Spoiler alert, none of them are true anymore. How can you think of what you really want to do and what would really make you happy in life if your entire life you haven't been asked that question? If you're not used to deciding for yourself, okay, what do I want my life to look like? How do I want to steer things? If you're used to and you've gotten praise and validation your entire life for doing things exactly the way that other people have told you to and exactly the way that other people expect, then that's what you're going to keep doing. That's the habit that you formed. Those are the neural pathways that you have. I didn't even know how to answer for myself the question, what do I really want to do? And how am I going to get there? Law school was just easier. Law school was prestigious. It was a set path. I knew I could do it. You take an exam, you go to school, you get good grades, you get a good job. I knew that path. I knew that I could do it. It was safe. So instead of going after something that I really wanted, I went to law school. And I tried to convince myself that I would do something interesting and creative with my law practice. But of course, I came out of law school with close to $200,000 in debt. So I took a big corporate law job. And I worked for 6 years in that big corporate law job because of that same momentum, that same carrying forward of what else am I going to do? I don't even know how to ask myself that question. I don't know how to make the change. That sounds way too scary. I'm just going to keep going on this path and I'm going to try to make this path as the least painful that it can be. So I worked in New York for 3 years. Then I moved to LA, moved back here to my hometown of LA for 3 years. I thought of different jobs that I could take in law that were less stressful, where I could be a little bit happier. But I never really thought that I could make a completely different life. And it got to the point where in 2013, after 6 years working in law, 3 years being in law school, 1 year studying for the law school exams, 10 years of my life in law, after 10 years, I finally got to a point where I would drive into work thinking, I don't want to live my life if this is all that it's going to be. If this is it, it's not worth it. And at that point, that's when I quit in 2013.